Hi, welcome to this session, Open Security Summit, where we're going to look at SOC2 and Abbas from the Gospel Security team, head of InfoSec and Security Day, IT and Security is going to take us through this. And actually, I hope he's also one of many sessions that we want to have here about SOC2, ISO 27000 certifications, where we should be sharing and collaborating on how to get this done, but also how to make it scale and how to put it as a graph, and really create something that is highly scalable. So over to you, Abbas.
Thank you, Dennis. So welcome everyone to my session today. My name is Abbas, and as most of you know, that I am the head of IT and InfoSec at Glasswall. So today we're going to talk about SOC2 certification for SaaS companies. So we're going to have a walk through what is SOC in general, just for the people who don't know, just what are the types of SOC, and then why do we need SOC2 for SaaS companies? Yeah, so as you know, information security, it's always a reason of concern for all organizations. Especially people who outsource some key business operations to third-party vendors, SaaS, cloud computing providers. So as you know, SOC is a kind of a compliance which is offered, it's a type of compliance that ensures that service providers securely manage their data to protect their data and their customers' data. So there are a couple of types of SOC which I'm going to go through, but I want to say SOC 2 compliance is a minimal requirement when considering a SaaS provider, and at least that's what we are told by FSIs and large enterprise companies when we are trying to sell them a product or something like that. I will get to testimonials later on, but this is just an introduction. So basically, what is SOC 2? So SOC 2, it's an auditing procedure. SOC is an auditing procedure which ensures that service providers securely manage their end client data to protect the interest of the two parties. So on the SOC, we have a SOC 1, and we have SOC 2, and now we have SOC 3. So under each SOC type, we have two types, type 1 and type 2. So if I want to talk about SOC 1, it is designed to address internal controls over financial reporting. SOC 2 that addresses a service organization control that are relevant to their operations and compliance. And SOC 3, which is the highest level here, it's assurance of operation excellence. So basically, SOC 2 reports that only include audited testing report, but the SOC 3 is provide a system description and the auditor's opinion. So here, as you see, let me move my banner here. So here, as you see, is this blocking your view? Okay.
No.
So SOC comparison. So and it says here what do we have in each report and how to use it. And these are the SOC types. So the type 1, it describes a vendor's system and whether their design is suitable to meet relevant trust principles. Type 2 details the operation of effectiveness of these systems. So this is a SOC 2 certification. This is the SOC 2 certification trust. So that's what when we are doing a SOC 2 certification, that's what we look for. It is 5 trust principles. One of them, the privacy, when you address your access control, two-factor authentication, encryption, confidentiality. Again, it's encryption, access controls, network firewall, and applications. Process integrity. This is where QA comes in, and process and monitoring. Availability. That's where we discuss, where we work on performance monitoring, disaster recovery, and security incident handling. And on the security bit, it is again the securing your endpoints, network, and application firewalls, two-factor authentication, and intrusion detection. So the SOC 2 certification, it is addressed by outside auditors. So, and the outside auditors check how much the vendor complies with one of more of the 5 trust principle I listed here. Yeah, so if I want to go and talk who needs SOC 2 and why, and this is very important here to understand why do we need SOC 2 and why when I go to to our client and say, I have this great product here, I want to sell to you. Why is it important for for the SaaS companies to have SOC 2 compliance? So I want to say system and organization controls compliance isn't mandatory. One of the reasons we need SOC 2 is the customer demand. So protecting, customer data it's a headache. So and it is important, like to protect it from unauthorized access. So without SOC 2 attestation, or probably SOC 3 in some cases, you can lose business easy. If we talk about cost effectiveness, if we're gonna think that an audit is gonna cost a lot of money, because let's say a SOC 2 audit cost is gonna be like 20 grand as an example. It depends, here on how big the organization, if it is big or small. But single data breach cost on average it costs $3.86 million, and that figure arises every single year. And as you know, after COVID, we have a lot of businesses which are online, and we know it's just going mad here. So imagine, I think that 3.86, which was in 2018, I think might be like 7 million now a year. So, and SOC 2, it's a proactive, and SOC 3, or it's a proactive measure to help avoid those costly security breaches. So I think a company look at small companies. So I think they would rather pay 20 grand, on paying 7 million, because 7 million would make them broke. They'll make them broke, and they won't be able to carry on. And if we're going to talk about competitive advantage, so having SOC 2 or 3 report enhance, gives the organization the edge over the competitors. And we can say, listen, we are SOC 2 certified. I tried this with another certification, with Cyber Essential and Cyber Essential Plus, which, if I want to compare this to SOC 2, they are Mickey Mouse. I just call them Mickey Mouse certifications, and it makes a difference. When you go for a small business, with a one couple of pages website, and they sell that small product, it's a very small, it's a very just a tool, which does something. But they, especially when I talk a small business, like trying to attract medium-sized businesses, you go there and say, yeah, I will try to sell you this great tool. It's like, yeah, but how can we confirm that this is it's a good tool? So basically, SOC 2 and 3 give you that kind of reassurance. If we want to talk about peace of mind, passing a SOC 2 audit provides assurance that your system and networks are secure. It provides that assurance, as you know. So, well, it always have the human element here. I can argue on this and say it has that. It depends on how honest people are as well, because here there are a lot of questionnaire stuff, that InfoSec and IT teams are going to go and fill. I just want to say that because SOC 2's requirement, it overlap, how do you call it? It kind of overlaps, or dovetail with other frameworks. Let's say ISO 27001. So if you have that thing, if you have that certificate, it can speed your organization overall compliance efforts. So let's say one of the things we are working ourselves in the InfoSec team is so how I call it is I like to call it from an IT background, like a blade. So basically, if I get SOC 2 as a baseline there, so I'm gonna go and check against ISO 27001. It's if I want to achieve ISO 27701, I just need to have that bit. Just go and work on it. I call it a blade. I just put that blade in, a minimum, a little bit of work, and here we go. So our customers required ISO 27001, and we have it. So and if we want to look at the value, So, I mean, the SOC2, let's say SOC2 reports, it provides valuable insight to the organization risk and security posture, vendor management, internal controls, governance, and if you are compliant with regulatory stuff. So it is a benefit for everyone. It is a benefit. I'm gonna talk later on from why salespeople, let's say, like it, and in a second. So here I just want to say this is a great thing I found online, to be honest. So with SOC 2, you can sell to compliant industries and their vendors. So you can sell to financial industries, sensitive data firms like law firms. They all require SOC 2. They all require SOC 2. Third-party SaaS vendors, they require SOC 2. I mean, in the red circle here, you can't break in there. I know that SOC 2 is not the only requirement and the main probably, but it is definitely it is a main requirement. But I mean, I know you might have more stuff like there to look into, but this is definitely SOC 2 definitely required that you can't break in there without it. And third-party SaaS and vendors, and for us, as a company, SOC 2 would do us really good. I'm just going to go for a testimonials from one of sales team. And Rod, he's leading a lot of he goes and talk to customers and try to sell them our products, and he just told me that global NFSI customers told us that they will not deploy any product in their live environment without SOC 2 or equivalent. It will also reduce the overhead of security sign-off for POCs. Without SOC 2, we need to answer an extensive questionnaire. Sorry for the typo here, for most engagements. So basically, and I want to tell you from my own experience, in the InfoSec team, we have the sales team coming to us. Even if you have a security document about your product, these like big banks, big companies, they're gonna come back to you and say, "This is our questionnaire. Go and fill it." And that questionnaire, seriously, there is no standard exactly same question. Every single company, they're gonna go and ask their security questionnaire in a different view, and it gets really complicated and it is time consuming. I tried. We started doing playbooks at Glasswall where you can have, this questionnaires, most of the questions covered in there, and try to merge them. Even so, we still have a new one coming in, and that takes ages to go through it and just go and fill that questionnaire, and then you're gonna need to send that back to the bank or to the financial institution. I meant in terms of customers here, and they're gonna come back to you and say, "Why are you not doing this?" And it's a big headache, to be honest. So I think SOC 2 is a very, very good. It's a very, very good compliant. It's very important. It is important to be compliant with SOC 2 for any medium, for any SaaS company. It is essential. Any questions?
I have one question. Why did Glasswall decide to go with SOC 2 and not ISO 27001, or is that further down the pipeline?
So for SaaS, there is a difference between ISO 27001 and SOC 2, and from a compliance, SOC 2 is something for SaaS, and Glasswall decided to go that because all companies we are talking to, they are asking for SOC 2, they're not asking for ISO 27001. So let's say 90% of the companies you go to are saying, "Oh, we want are you SOC 2 compliant?" So that's one of the main reasons.
Okay, cool.
Any more questions?
So I had a question on when you go to the areas, can you zoom in more on actually the practical elements of it?
Areas.
Yes, if you go back a couple of slides, and you had this.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of the trust principles, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you need to be compliant to 3 if you want to achieve SOC 2. You need to be compliant to for 3 areas here, as far as I know. So one of them is privacy. So do you want me to go and discuss every single one in particular? So I think I misunderstood your question, Dennis.
Yeah, no. So what's, if you zoom more in, right, in practice, what are you, where are you putting this, right? So access control, two-factor encryption, network firewalls,
So
what's the next level down from this?
So on your okay, so basically that's got, in SOC we're gonna have it's three stages. The first stage is where you assess what you have. So you go, let's say you're using let's say AWS or Azure. You're gonna go and assess your environment to check on all these controls, to check where you are, to check if you have access control policies, let's say, to your resources. So are you allowing access to your resources from everywhere? Let's say us as an example, we restrict access to a couple of areas on Azure and AWS, and we have some requirement like 2FA. We have requirement like location, and or minimum So you go and audit all your you need to go first and do the assessment, and then on stage 2 you're gonna go, after you edit the assessment, you're gonna go and try to sort out the closures, and the last stage where you're gonna have the auditors, like the official auditors, coming in to audit you. So basically, in terms of privacy, you're gonna need to make sure that, as far as I know, so that you have access control, let's say, policies applied, conditional access ones, two-factor authentication, like who can connect to your wherever you are saving your code or something like that, who can connect and how can they connect. You need to make sure that you have encryption on your local storage as well. So I meant in terms of how can you connect, so you need to connect. Are you connecting via VPN? Do you have two-factor authentication applied on that? What is your password policy? I'm not talking here if password expires or not, but is it strong password policy? If you go on things, say, and these like access control, two-factor authentication, encryption, they go under confidentiality as well. So basically, the audit will be on these 5 trust principles, and you're gonna need to go and check on your performance monitoring. Like, when we are, let's say, as an example, the glass wall is one of the, we go and do some quality and fuzzing testing and stuff like that on our product. How is it working? Do we have any disaster recovery plan? So if that cluster, Kubernetes cluster or whatever, goes down, how do we recover from that? How long would it? Do you have a procedure for that? And do you have an incident management? So if let's say you have a security incident happening, how do you handle that? Do you have a process in place? What would you do in such a situation? So let's say as Glasswall, one of the great things we achieved over the last couple of months is to have security incident playbooks. So which means that we have a proper procedure. So when we have a security incident, we do A, B, C, D, and E. So we go and, let's say, we start a playbook. We have that will automatically open an incident on our chat communication platform, and then we're gonna go there and we will have a channel just for that, and we're gonna go and start communicating with and adding stakeholders and people who are involved in this incident, and they're gonna go and investigate everything going on and happening. And after that, we'll we have a whole questionnaire that is it affecting our customers, what is the risk, and all of this. And definitely, like on security, like we're gonna have definitely a network and here software application software firewalls. Do we have that? How are you protecting your application? In terms of security, do you have security intrusion detection system? So if someone is trying to attack you, do you does your system attack specific stuff? As an example, like things we did at Glasswall, we have created our own bot which gonna go and look into our different cloud platforms and say, oh, user A is he just started deleting things aggressively, or user A started doing user A started he just created a VPC, or user A he just is deleting a resources or trying to delete a resource. So this is something very important to have all these controls in place, and SOC 2 is going to go and audit you against all of this. So one of the examples on intrusion detection is as well, like here, controls like, you know, we should take into consideration is billing, so anomalies. Oh, suddenly, you know, on that on that platform, we start having like someone spinning EC2 instances crazily, and you know, the cost is gonna go up. So if you can monitor your cost as well, you can get yourself secure. Availability, I spoke about security, incident handling, disaster recovery, but I just want to you know, are you protected against DDoS attack? What do you do? So do you have load balancing? Do you have all of this? You're gonna need to go and audit all of this. You know, yeah. So in terms of confidentiality, we spoke about this. You need to have your access controls and network application and firewalls. Does that answer your question, Dennis? Or
yeah, but I was kind of looking at, is there like a checklist? So like where it's like a kind of all those things? Is there like a set of questions, like the next level down?
It's a very long questionnaire, like 300 questions, but every single one is to have like too many questions. I don't have that on me.
Because the thing that we should try to do is actually put that into, you know, like we're going to probably put it on Jira, right, or put it or some kind of way. Because
yeah,
how do people do this? Is it like just a bunch of spreadsheets?
It is. You know what? When we started this, like in 2019, we received a big questionnaire from the people who were helping us on stage one, and it's a very long questionnaire. And you can, you know, usually these companies, they provide you with a platform where you can go and audit everything online. You can still download the report, but you can go and do it online and insert stuff. Let's say, yeah, I've answered this question. No, this question requires more information, or this is not applicable. When we did it, it was an online platform, and when we started, and it was when you download the questionnaire, it's like about 200-300 questions that you're gonna go and need and tick, and you know, yeah, and talk about. But I don't have that here, and even if I have it, I can't show it because it's not anonymized. What I have is not anonymized at the moment.
Yeah, no, I thought that would be like a generic one, no?
I can look for some. I don't have a generic one.
Okay, all right, don't worry. Yeah, because I think it'll be interesting to see if we are how to make it scale. We definitely need a platform to do that, right?
Yeah, usually, I mean, it will be cool if you know, the people who will be working with, it's going to have the ability to integrate whatever they have with Jira. It will be very good for us, and it should be like a two-way. So if I update something on Jira, it goes as well. Update the report. That's a dream, to be honest. But I hope so. I will look for a generic questionnaire and try to. We will anonymize what we have, and we can share it publicly if required. And you know, whatever we have is gonna be we're gonna go and add it to Jira.
Cool. All right. All right. Any other questions from?
I've got one more question. How would we ensure that we're compliant going forward? So once we've got the certification, how do we ensure that we're meeting the controls?
So basically, I just want to say, you know, SOC 2 is going to be added every 6 months. But one of the great things we have, I mean, you know, all these big cloud providers, they are doing. And so it is two things. It is what you are doing as a company, as an InfoSec and InfoSec team. And you know, and what are you doing as what are the, you know, third parties, cloud providers company are doing. I will give you an example about Azure and AWS. So in Azure AWS, you have now a compliance center where you can go and you set up all, you know, you can check on all your resources, all your Azure resources or AWS resources. Am I compliant with SOC 2? And it's going to go and check on that and give you recommendations. Say you need to do this here and you need to do this there. And the other thing, it will be as well on you as an InfoSec and as an InfoSec team, and you know, you need to implement this in your SSDLC and say everything we are spinning every single time we have a design change, every single time we have a change. I mean, design change means a change to the data flow diagram, which means a change to the threat model. Every single time you have this, you're going to need to go and make sure it is compliant with SOC 2.
Got you. Okay. Because I know with ISO 27001, you would have like regular internal audits. Have like an internal audit team who'd go against.
Yeah. I mean, that's every 6 months, I think, on SOC 2.
Got you. Okay.
So I mean, the thing with SOC 2, you know, it provides an assessment of the controls. Yeah. So I mean, the ISO 27001 is a like top-down view of security. which that establishes the core control. I just want to make this clear. So yeah, Dennis, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, so the when you're using third-party providers, right, like to provide a lot of the stuff, and they're SOC 2 compliant, how much more is then to do for a company?
How much more?
See, if all the hosting, for example, is done by, if you run everything on Azure on AWS, right, then what's the bits that are relevant? Is it the development? Is it, like when you talk about access controls and encryption and all that stuff?
It is both.
What?
I mean, from as far as I understand, it is on the development and InfoSec teams here too.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that, for example, when you do PCI DSS, right? Basically you define what's in scope, right? And in scope, you start with where the credit card data is, and you kind of go around some circles around it. Like, so what's in scope in a pure cloud play, right? Like where all the services are provided and they're hosted in the cloud provider. How much of the company is in scope?
I'm not really sure about this one, but what I'm pretty sure, what I'm pretty sure about it is the scope will be any cloud platform, anyone accessing that cloud platform, any team accessing that cloud platform, and the scope will be all the resources, on that used, for a specific product, or because SOC 2 here, you can do it on a product, or you can do it for the whole business, for your old product, for everything. So it starts with the product and it comes down to all your controls. And I'm really sorry if I'm not a SOC 2 SOC 2 expert. I'm just trying to break through this.
All right, sorry. Cool. All right. Any other questions? All right. Do you have any more materials?
No, that's what I have. I think in Jan we'll have more. Definitely, we'll have more material into this, and we can.
I think definitely. I think we want to look at the scalability of this, right? Because what I'm looking for, right? So the thing that we did in the past, in fact, you can see some of the worldly maps that one of the guys that was on my team created. Is we basically took the view that we put the whole of the PCI stuff in what's it called? In Jira. So basically the auditor just literally navigated through Jira, and we basically went through every one of the items that was basically on the check, right? The extended list, and linked or attached to that item in Jira was the documentation, right? Basically was the reference. And we even, I think, exported it to spreadsheet just to double check. But I think that allows it to also to track the project, right? To really understand what's going on.
I mean, when we started this last year, it wasn't me directly involved, because I was involved later in it a little bit. But what I remember that it was on. We didn't have Jira at the time, I think. So it was a portal where we logged in and we start ticking boxes and answering questions. But in this occasion, I think what we can do is. I have that. Probably we can try to import what we have, see if we can import it automatically. But if we can't, maybe we can just get that generic questionnaire and import it there. We need to find a way to automate and to be able to be scalability here and automation are keys in here.
And I think let's also use this forum now to ask questions on. And I think now that we got the first session, let's create another set of sections on. Like a good session to do it next in January is scaling SOC 2, right? And see how others are doing, right?
Yeah, and I was hoping we're gonna have. I don't know if anyone had done SOC 2 on this call.
No.
No. So basically, myself, it's my very first experience with this. We've done PCI compliance and stuff like that before, but I mean, this is something absolutely new. But it's very, very exciting. So.
Yeah, so good. All right, I think we can wrap up. So
okay,
we can stop recording, and I think we'll continue next month.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone.